I'm going to launch into the Church Partners Guide. You can print this out. It's like 6 pages with front and back, but it really shines when you get into the digital product as you can click on things and go deeper. What if churches want to partner with Cru at different times of the year? What are students up to in March? Okay, you can click on Spring Break Mission Trip. And if you do, it takes you to a page that will share more about what our Spring Break Mission Trip is all about. How can you pray for this event? What could you provide for this event? And how could you participate with this event, volunteer? And this next page is probably the most important page that we focus on. I call it the Do-It-Yourself Guide. These are the things that we want to see happen on campus. If Cru were to disappear tomorrow, how could the church replicate what we're doing? There's all the training for doing club fairs, all the surveys you need to print out, and the link to ordering freshman survival kits, and then ideas for first 5 weeks and how to follow up with them and order gospel booklets. And after that, 4 elements on campus. They have a little job description, and then if you click on them, it'll take you to stuff the evangelism leader is going to want to do at the club fair. Here's some trainings we're going to want to use, the co-journers cards, and here's a pizza and God training, and there's videos for that, how to order booklets and stuff too. So you can see the 4 element leaders, and then what events are there. Churches are going to want to know, especially if they're going to scholarship students to go to events, what are they going to be raising support for across the year? Generally speaking, their costs as well, what we're asking students to raise. And then below that is discipleship. So that is a packet that you guys can use for volunteers to disciple students. And that's really worked out. The last one on that page is Senior Challenge, talking about the 5 things and how they can live missionally where they work and play and live when they graduate. And that's going to be even more applicable for a local church than it is for us, honestly. Let's get a handshake with a local church that our students are graduating and going into and help them to understand the student's background and passion and evangelism experience, and help the church realize, wow, these people can be on fire for God and for our church if we help them connect well. I'm going to talk you through 3 pairs of pages. The first one is before college. What can you do as a parent to help your student prepare for college? And there's, again, all these blue text or clickable links. And then what can you do as a youth group to prepare your high school students for college? And the cool thing is, when I'm talking to a youth group pastor, they resonate with the idea that their upperclassmen high school students oftentimes check out because they're already thinking about what's ahead. They're not necessarily interested in hanging out with the younger kids and talking about what was. Their dreams are what's ahead in college. But if you can start connecting with them and preparing them for college, then you're walking with them where their heart and mind are. And so I think they'll stick with you better as a youth group, and then you'll be preparing them better, and you'll be handing them off better to a ministry like Cru, who can run with them as they've already learned how to share their faith and to lead a Bible study, not as a lecture, but as a discussion, moderation. How great would it be if a lot of the aligning to our ministry happened before they even got there? The next pair of pages is during college. I set this up into tiers. Some churches are just going to want to dip their toe in the water to start. They're not necessarily going to dive in with both feet. So tier 1 is just some stuff they can do without a lot of commitment. They can start receiving your prayer letters. That's awesome. How would you guys like more people praying for your ministry, right? They can visit one of your campus meetings. They could maybe send care packages to either individual students, if you get that robust, or even just to your weekly meetings. Introduce us to your college students. Have us speak at your upperclassmen preparing for college time. Help us cast vision, or attend one of our fellowship dinners, or host a summer ministry like Summer Connect. Summer Connect is an awesome drag and drop tool. I love to tell churches about it. Do you get an influx of college students over the summer and don't know what to do with them but wish you could? Well, I've got the answer for you. Click this link and put a bowl of popcorn in front of the projector and you've got a young adult ministry. So a lot of churches who don't know where to get started, that is a sweet place to begin. And Cru would love to have more hubs like that, where our students aren't just kind of connecting individually on their phones and laptops, but they're connecting in a group setting, especially in a local church where they have a chance to rub off some Cru DNA, even as they're exercising the results that we want to see them going through a summer mission trip. So tier 2 is a little more involved, but it's a very short group of ideas here. You could start to commission your students. As your students are graduating from high school, do a whole ceremony for them of we're sending you off as missionaries to the college you're going to. Really giving those people a heart for when I set foot on campus, It's to be a light for the gospel on that campus, not just to get a degree and get a job or party and have fun. And then coming out and helping us with an event, bringing food to that leadership planning summit, and then discipling students. And you're going to get more individuals from the church who are doing this kind of stuff. Tier 3 is these guys are the ones saying, and we want to help you run a campus ministry. We put the ministry on our back. Even if you can't run the ministry, just show us how to do it and we'll make this happen. Campus prayer table. So these guys are getting out on campus, maybe regularly, maybe 3 or 4 people from their church come out and they set up a table with the crew banner, put out solarium cards and water bottles and snack chips, and they pray with students and then train student leaders. If we're at a community college or even at a 4-year school, there's turnover rate in that leadership. And it takes a lot of effort to train these people how to lead. And if the students don't pass the baton well, we're starting from scratch. But man, what if you had 4 churches and each of those churches said, your job every year, you're going to take the prayer leader and you're going to train them and adopt them and walk with them and resource them and help them do their job well. And then this church, you're going to help the evangelism leader to do that. Once you get these 4 churches rolling on that, how amazing can that be? As they're just supported underneath by this ironclad network of churches. One thing I love about Cru is it being interdenominational and student-led, but also being large enough that it has enough of a backbone that we can be a stable, solid ground where these different churches can come together and each of them take part without feeling like the ministry belongs to the other. They can kind of share and all be blessed. It's not going to always work out in every situation, but I think that's what we're supposed to be striving for based on what Jesus said in John 17. So as they're training student leaders, I think we'll see a lot more ministries thriving with a lot less effort. The last pair of pages is after college. How do you connect with Cru students who've graduated, and how do you help them run for a lifetime where they work and play and live? Ultimately, this is where the local church is going to take this handoff from us. We're going to have less and less influence over a student as they graduate. We need to entrust them to local churches who really get it. And so we want to walk with them and hand it off well.